Welcome back to The Dot, presented by Matt Bowers Auto Group. I'm Brooke Kirchhoffer alongside Nick Underhill, and welcome out to the Saints practice facility here in Metairie. Friday's practice, a bit cause for concern. Andres Pete was not out at practice. Dennis Allen later said that he is dealing with a strained groin, and they're going to reevaluate him tomorrow. But given there's already likely going to be shuffling on the offensive line, not good when you have one of your guys who's better in run blocking out.
Yeah, definitely not a good thing for this team. I heard that it's not probably a big deal, but how does that pertain to this week's game? We'll see. Not a big deal sometimes means different things to different people, so that's kind of like a blanket statement. I don't think it's a major injury, but it could be something that affects them on Sunday. If he can't play, maybe Max Garcia gets some more reps. We'll see how that kind of plays out a little bit. It's going to be interesting, though, because that is someone that it seemed like they were relying on this week. Dennis Allen said in his press conference on Wednesday that he expected Pete to be part of the solution and to have a bigger role. So we'll see how that kind of plays out this weekend.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Of course, the biggest thing we're going to be looking for is who is starting at left tackle. Is it Trevor Penning or James Hurst? But if you're wanting James Hurst to slide to left tackle, you might have an issue if Andres Pete ends up being out. So do you expect if Pete is out, Max Garcia will start there instead of James Hurst?
It's tough to say. I mean, it's about getting your best five on the field. So if Pete can't play, it could be back to Penning. It really depends on how they want to go about it. I don't think it is a big deal, though, so we're going to kind of see how it goes. This could be something that we see pregame where he's maybe trying to see if he can go and play this week. So it's something definitely to keep an eye on. It throws a wrench into kind of everything, because if you did want to shuffle around, he was kind of one of the reasons why you would have been doing that. So we'll just have to – it's one of those things where we're just going to kind of have to see on Sunday.
Yeah, let's get to the Texans offense. Their rookie quarterback, top 3 in passing yards and has yet to throw an interception. I wanted to go talk to somebody who used to catch his throws, Chris Olave. He was able to talk to us a little bit in the locker room today, and he said, look, he's a guy who's really confident in himself and exudes that confidence to his wide receivers. He tells his wide receivers where to be, and there's a level of chemistry that he can develop very quickly with the wide receivers. This is coming from Chris Olave, who worked with him at Ohio State back when they were in college and had a ton of success. He said he's not surprised that he hasn't thrown any interceptions. I said, is he more of a safe quarterback? And he said, not necessarily. Like, he makes the safe throws. He's never going to throw anything into danger, but he's a guy who is very confident in his ability, and it looks like that's what we've seen on film this week.
I've been extremely impressed with how he's been able to come in and play. Bryce Young was supposed to kind of be the player that came in and lit everything up. Instead, it's been C.J. Stroud, and he's kind of proven some of his doubters wrong in a very big and loud way right now. He's locked in. He's making all the right decisions. I think the scheme helps him quite a bit. They do a lot of things to get some easy reads, but that's okay. I mean, that's what Kyle Shanahan does, and he makes quarterbacks into superstars when they buy into that system. It looks like Stroud's really kind of bought into a very similar system in that motion and the space and just all this different stuff. You make the right decisions, make it easy on the quarterback. That's just good play calling, and that can help a quarterback a lot.
And that system is incredibly hard to defend. We talk so highly about Dennis Allen and the disguised looks on defense, but credit to the Texans offense. They have a lot of disguised looks on offense as well. We had a chance to talk with Dennis Allen today. You can listen to that entire interview on our YouTube page, but I asked him, how do you manage an offense like that without giving away the entire game plan? And he broke it down in its simplest form that one, DA has to get the play call out right. Then it's a matter of watching the huddle and communicating. Then it's executing the play, and then you've got to do that. To me, it's going to be incredibly exhausting mentally and with the communication. The Saints defense is going to need that Sunday.
Yeah, they're going to need to have good eyes throughout this whole game, too, because there's a lot of motion. They're hard to read. There's just a lot of stuff they do to kind of make their everything look the same without kind of giving anything away. There's not a lot of tells. And the other thing DA said is that they're going to have to tackle in space this week because they do a good job of getting guys out into space. So you just need to be fundamentally sound throughout the whole thing. We've seen the Saints struggle with some motion looks on defense. As sound as they are, sometimes they get crossed up with that. So that's something that they're going to have to be very on top of this week.
Yeah, good tackling is going to be a priority. And Dennis Allen even mentioned, I think you asked him, like, they haven't really had to tackle in space a whole lot this year. So managing that will be key. I also thought it was important to hear him talk about Tano Passanio and the impact that he's had. He's more of a slippery guy that's able to get in and move around on the defensive line. They might be relying on him a whole lot.
Yeah, he played well last week, too. They played him inside a little bit, kind of got like a NASCAR look. He was good rushing the passer there. I think having him involved is someone that can he can create some some mismatches sort of in the front because he's so long. You get him on the interior, he gets his arms up. That's someone that's very hard to throw the ball around. So he's been disruptive in that sense. So the more they can use these guys, I think the better they're going to be. They don't necessarily have like a ton of home run hitters on the defensive line, but you got a lot of guys that can get to second base, and he's one of those guys. So the more you can play him and get him involved, I think it helps that whole group.
Look, they played him in the preseason, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get the same looks. Actually, we can probably say they're not going to get the same looks in Week 6, but for some reason the Saints have struggled to play in Houston. They're 3-2 all-time in the series record, but the Saints have never won in Houston. Potential for that to happen this week?
That almost seems impossible just because
right?
Houston hasn't been a great team.
They just haven't played a whole lot either.
And the Saints caught them last time in 2015. That was probably the low point of the Sean Payton era. Going back and looking at that defense is kind of crazy. Some of the names, some of the guys that were starting for them. So that wasn't the same Saints. But, yeah, I think they have a good shot of winning this week. I like the matchup for them. If the Saints are who we think they are, these are the games that they have to win. If you lose this game, I think it possibly redefines the whole entire season. If you win it, you're handling business.
Absolutely.
You got Jacksonville next week on Thursday night. That's going to be a tough game. But they're coming back from London. So it's kind of advantageous here these next 2 weeks. You can handle business and win this one. I think you're in really good shape going forward.
Yeah, the fact that it's a short week, and look, Jacksonville, what a tough turnaround for them too, coming back from a London game. So that's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on. The next time we will see you guys is live in Houston for our pregame Q&A show. Be sure to jump in the chat and send us all the questions you might have. But for Nick Underhill, I'm Brooke Kirchhoffer. We'll see you guys in Houston.